Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
Kyler Murray took great offense as to why the Cardinals no longer have a great offense, at least when it comes to throwing deep balls down the field. He called that criticism egregious, but something is clearly amiss. Last year, the Cardinals ranked third in the NFL in yards per rushing attempt. They excelled at big boy football, and yet on passes thrown at least 10 yards downfield, Murray averaged just 9.4 yards per attempt, ranking 28th among starting quarterbacks. That doesn't make sense. When you punish a team up front in the NFL, it generally means the defense is susceptible for the deep ball over the top. But the Cardinals are the exception. Last year, they became the masters of the check down with 23% of their passes targeted to running backs. Now, maybe this isn't Murray's fault. Maybe it's the play calling. Maybe it was the rough initiation of Marvin Harrison Jr. and a wide receiver room void of quality depth. But either way, that has to change in 2025. Murray must excel at all the boring stuff and make all the right decisions under extreme pressure, but he also has to deliver some of those explosive plays that mark the early stages of his career. After all, an NFL team that wants to be great must bring a little lightning to go along with all that thunder.
I don't think accuracy has never been an issue in my game, and that's just me talking to y'all. Obviously, I think we weren't explosive. Like, we weren't as explosive as we wanted to be last year, or the fans want us to be, as far as going downfield, you know what I mean? But as far as making explosive plays, there was explosive plays all over. We ran the hell out of the ball. And if you look at the first half of my career, I don't think we had issues as far as explosives downfield, right? I think that's just, within the scheme and within those things, that's where, okay, do we want to punch down the field? Do we want to push it down the field, or what do we want to do?
So if it's there, you'll take it. If it's not, you'll be boring. You'll be like you said, you'll be boring.
It's it may not be what the fans want to see sometimes, but as long as the ball gets to the end zone and we put 7 or 3 on the board, I may be frustrated at times personally. Just like y'all want to see the ball get, we all get frustrated, but hell, what's best for the team? What's best for winning? You know what I mean? But as far as accuracy goes, I've never not been accurate. That's egregious.
Yeah, I took offense to that. Even though
egregious.
You have the numbers to back it up.
That's the thing. The numbers that are out there don't jibe with what Kyler Murray is saying. That's my only point here. So maybe some of this is defense mechanisms. Maybe it's deflection, or like I said in the blast, maybe it's not his fault. Maybe he's going with the ball where he's instructed to go with the ball, and maybe everything that kind of suppressed the Cardinals' passing game last year, at least the deep element of it, had to do with more wide receivers and Marvin Harrison Jr. and getting him acclimated. Maybe that problem solves itself.
Yes.
But these numbers, they're inexplicable. In 2023, 2 seasons ago, Kyler Murray targeted running backs on 14% of his passes. Last year, that number skyrocketed to 23%. That's a big jump. Led the league in yards on checkdowns. Now, the word checkdown in the NFL, it's become a pejorative. It's a bad word. It's a word that you associate with scared quarterbacks who aren't staying in the pocket, who aren't keeping their eyes downfield.
And Matt Leinart.
But sometimes the check down is the very smart play. Mm-hmm. Just not always. So somehow, by hook or by crook, as they say, they got to get up over the top this year. And if they don't, and this passing game kind of, because again, it just doesn't make sense when you've got a running game as powerful as the Cardinals to rank third, to average over 5 yards an attempt over a season. That's big boy football. You should get payoff for that. You run the ball like that, you're bringing that. You're eliminating the ability for the defense to play too high safeties, theoretically, and that's how teams that run the ball very, very well get over the top. And so that element it should be part of this offense with the way they run the ball.
It should, but you also have to have the threats. And I agree with you with Marvin Harrison Jr.'s development, his comfort growing, getting more acclimated to the speed, physicality, and the demands of the pro game. It could take care of itself. But I'll ask you, last year with the way the offense was operating, who was the deep threat? You have to have somebody adept at doing it.
I know.
Somebody to take the top up off the defense.
So so the question becomes, do they have that guy now? That's what we're going to find out. And again, I don't want this to come down to a thing where they look back at the end of the season and go, man, we were a wide receiver short and we had $30 million we sat on.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. was the only receiver to average more than 11 yards per catch last year. 14.3, which is a pretty decent number.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not your father's NFL anymore.
No.
Where receivers are averaging 15 to 20 yards per catch.
Mm-hmm.
It's just become a lot more of a short passing game. And you're right. When you're that reliant on your tight end, there's a lot of instances where Trey McBride is going to get the ball thrown to him and he's going to make the catch 99 times out of 100.
Yep.
There's just nowhere to run.
Yeah. But you're not throwing it to him deep. That's the whole thing.
No.
And that's the one thing about this roster going in. When you look at it, to the layman, you look at it and you go, that wide receiver depth, I don't know, man. Zay Jones really better be that dude. Michael Wilson better really take that step up.
Oh, I think
Greg
Wilson.
Dortch, what a Dortch!
What a Dortch!
I think Wilson has the opportunity to improve in that area. Harrison does as well. Zay Jones has always been kind of a possession guy, even though he's got some size to him. Greg Dortch has always been an underneath kind of slot guy who can bust a play, but I don't think you're throwing the ball downfield in one-on-one coverage or contested coverage with Greg Dortch because of his size.
Well, but again, if they're making a conscientious decision, we have enough at that position. Then you've got to wonder, do they? Look at the Rams. The Rams throw Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams at you.
Yeah. And before that, it was Cooper Kupp.
Every one of them. Your number 2 has to become a 1, your number 3 has to become a 2, and your number 4 has to become a 3.
Yeah.
They need all of them to step up this year.
And what are the odds that everybody levels up? So I'm hoping the need isn't as severe as it might have seemed to some, including myself. But again, you look at the training camp distribution of passes in 11 and 11 drills. Marvin Harrison Jr., 14 targets, Trey McBride, 13. Then it's Zay Jones, 5, Trey Benson, 4, Greg Dortch, 3, Mike Wilson, 2, Elijah Higgins, 1, James Conner, 1.
Yeah.
So it falls off the map from the top 2. And if your second best receiver is a tight end and you don't have a really good next receiver beyond that, then you're short, in my opinion. Let's hope they're not.
Look, it's a concern we both share going into the season because it is the same cast of characters.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible for this big level up, as you talked about? Nate Tice, who covers the NFL for Yahoo Sports, was on with Wolf and Luke yesterday. And they asked him what he thinks year 2 for Marvin Harrison Jr. could look like.
I think it's going to look more like his dad's second year kind of did, which is like, low 1,000-ish yards, 1,200 yards, still catches a healthy chunk of TDs, that kind of 8 to 10 TD range. But I think it's just more consistency, just watching it down to down where it is those go balls, those contested catches. I see it go balls, but a lot of like back shoulders, which, oh my God, I've seen nothing but back shoulders, it seems like, from training camp.
Yeah.
So obviously they've been working at it. And Marvin Harrison Jr. looked like he put on 25 pounds. He went 2 weight classes up.
Yeah.
If he was an MMA fighter. So it's one of those things where obviously they've been working at this. So that's why I think there's going to be that natural uptick with it.
It's interesting that he said his dad's second year. His dad's rookie year statistics in 96 were very similar to what Junior put up last year, including 8 touchdowns and over 800 yards. Marvin Harrison's senior, though, his big jump didn't come until his 4th year. That's when he exploded 1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns. And that was like a 4-year stretch where he was – actually, it was longer than that. But those next 4 years were off the charts.
Yep.
So I would expect – the second year, by the way, went up to 73 catches, 866 yards, touchdowns fell from 8 to 6. I expect more from Junior from a stat line this year.
The only team the only Arizona Cardinals team to ever make the Super Bowl had what? 3 1,000-yard wide receivers.
Yeah.
No one would have looked at that Cardinals. That Cardinals team was flawed. They were called the worst playoff team in history at the time. But no one would have questioned Anquan Boldin and Larry Fitzgerald as your wideouts.
No.
And then you had Steve Bruston as your number 3.
But the pass run differential was
well, that's true.
Was way
They didn't have a
That
James
is true.
Conner,
They didn't
and have a Trey McBride.
No, they didn't.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.